So let's dive into some of these guys. We can start with Logan Gilbert first, and let's preface it by referencing some of the other guys that are either a lock to make the All-Star game or will likely get in for different scenarios. Here's the list I came up with. Guys that are likely to make the All-Star game in the American League as a starting pitcher. Tarek Skubal, Tanner Houck, Corbin Burns, Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo, Ronel Blanco, Jack Flaherty, Garrett Crochet, Tyler Anderson. That's about 9 starters. Most of those guys are just going to get in because they fully deserve it. In fact, all of these guys have had great years. But if you want to look at Garrett Crochet and Tyler Anderson, the White Sox and Angels have to have some representative. It is not going to be Luis Robert for the White Sox right now. He hasn't played enough. He's probably not hitting well enough yet. Maybe he'd just get the fan vote. But the fact Crochet's been so good probably means Garrett Crochet is going to be an all-star for the White Sox, unless, of course, he's traded before then. So the White Sox have to have one representative, right? Crochet will probably be their guy. Tyler Anderson, former Mariner, who's had a really good year with the Angels. His ERA is sub-3. The Angels also have to get somebody in. It's not going to be Mike Trout for playing less than 30 games, having about a 720 OPS. It's probably not. I guess he could still get fan voted in, but unlikely. The other guy could be Logan O'Hoppe. He may get in as one of the catchers, but Anderson's got a real case to get in and be the Angels' lone representative. So if that's the case, if all these guys avoid injury and get the vote in, that's about 9 guys. Now, that's not to say some of the Mariners couldn't overtake these guys, but I would keep all those names into consideration when you start to factor in the Mariner starter. So with that, let's kind of dive in, right? Logan Gilbert first. He's top 10 in the American League in ERA right now. He's top 10 in strikeouts. He's 11th in FWAR. He's also playing great here in June. He's pitched phenomenally. And playing well late into the All-Star voting seems to play a factor a lot of the time. Not that the early games don't matter, but when you're peaking at the right time when voting's going on, that seems to matter a lot of the time. Logan Gilbert right now has a 1.66 earned run average in the month of June. He has not walked one batter. He has 22 strikeouts. Think about that. We're recording this on June 20th. Logan Gilbert hasn't walked a batter this month. None. If you were to highlight all of these guys, I feel like he's got the best case right now. His ERA is the lowest. He's been the most dominant. And also, I know on this podcast, we dive into the numbers a lot. We'll dive into the stuff on Savant. We'll dive into chase rate and whip rate and all this different stuff. Run value. You're not really going to do that when evaluating all-stars because that's not what people vote on. Maybe it should be, but it's not going to be. So you're going to have to look at some of the basic stats and compare it to other guys in the rest of the league. And Logan Gilbert in the American League right now is top 10 in a lot of categories. So that's why it feels like he probably has the best case of anybody to get in. Like, the strikeouts are good, the ERA is good, the WAR is good. And when you look at this Mariners rotation, right? Maybe the best rotation in baseball, but when you look at it, who is the top dog in this rotation right now? On paper and entering the season, a lot of people still view Luis Castillo as the ace. Is he still the ace? We can dive into that a little bit. Is he? I would make a case, at least right now, it's Logan Gilbert. I, right now, feel the most comfortable of any Mariners pitcher when Logan Gilbert's on the mound. He has been the most dominant of all of the Mariners' arms. And Jason Churchill talked about this with us, right? He said, book this. Logan Gilbert's going to be the guy that takes the biggest jump this year. He's going to finish top 5 in AL Cy Young voting, and he's going to have a whole lot less starts where he gets blown up and has a clunker. You're going to see a lot less 4-inning, 3 earned run, 4 earned run type of starts where he has to exit early. That's been the case. Logan Gilbert might have thrown 200 innings last year, but he's going deeper into games even more this year, and he has been flat out dominant. Again, this is the best season he's had so far to this point, and the fact in June he's got an ERA of 1.6, that matters. That really, really matters. You can say it doesn't, but I promise you when people are voting, recency bias will be a thing. And Logan's been great all year. But the fact he's peaking now, or peaking's not the right word, but the fact he's pitching so well now will matter. It will. And if he keeps pitching like this, it's going to be impossible to ignore. The fact he's already got a 2.93 ERA, He's top 10 in all these categories in the American League. He's got a good enough of a case already. Could he start the All-Star game? Joe Sheehan mentioned it, that he'd be a candidate. I don't know if he'll quite start it, but he's, for my money, absolutely going to get in. To start the All-Star game, you're probably looking at Tarek Skubal. You're probably looking at Tanner Houck. You're probably looking at Corbin Burns, somebody like that. I don't know if Logan's quite going to start this All-Star game, but if you were to ask me, stamp one guy, who is the Mariners representative if they get one guy? I say it's Logan Gilbert. I think he has the most deserving case, and I'm pretty confident that unless he absolutely gets blown up in a couple of his next starts, you're going to see him in Dallas for the All-Star game.